The village of Orenley huddled against the sea on the Orkney Isles, a collection of thatched roofs and stone walls, perpetually smelling of salt and damp earth. For a generation, they had lived under the fear of the Nuckelavee, a sea demon that terrorized the islands. Its name was whispered, never spoken aloud, a curse that had brought ruin and pestilence. It was said to be a creature born of horse and man, but 100 times more terrifying. It had no skin. Its body was a writhing mass of raw muscle, black blood pulsing through yellow veins visible to the naked eye. The horse part was enormous, with flippers on its legs, and from its back grew the torso of a man. Its own head impossibly large, its mouth like a pig's snout. Worst of all was its breath, a toxic miasma that wilted crops and sickened livestock. The only salvation, the old tales claimed, was fresh water. The Nuckelavee could not cross a running stream. Young Isla had grown up with these tales. Her family had lost their barley crop to a strange blight last autumn, and a sickness had claimed their best cow. Praz, the villagers, blamed the Nuckelavee, and the fear had grown from a whisper to a palpable dread. Tonight, the sea was a restless black sheet, and the wind, thick with salt, carried a sound that made the blood run cold. A high-pitched, screaming roar that was both of the sea and of a terrible grief. "It's coming ashore," her father, Hamish, said, his face pale in the firelight. "Board up the door, Isla. Don't go near the shore." Isla, however, had a different fear. Her little brother, Finn, fascinated by the sea despite the legends, had slipped out earlier to see if he could find a lost fishing lure. He had not returned. Fear, sharp and cold, cut through her terror. She had to find him. She grabbed a lantern and a hatchet, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She ignored her father's desperate pleas and slipped out into the storm. The wind howled, and the rain, light and misty, felt like a blessing against her face. She followed the muddy path toward the shore, the lantern's weak light dancing over the puddles. A second roar, closer this time, made her stumble, and then she saw it, bear a grotesque shadow, lurching and powerful, silhouetted against the dark sky. The sight was even worse than the legends. The raw, glistening muscle of its body pulsed with every step, and the man-torso atop its back thrashed, its long arms ending in cruel claws. Its single, fiery red eye burned with a hatred so profound it felt like a physical blow. The air around it was foul, a cloying stench of decay and death that made her gag. Isla saw Finn by the shore, standing frozen, his little face a mask of abject terror. The Nuckelavee was moving toward him with a slow, deliberate stride, its breath a grey mist that withered the reeds at its feet. Panic seized her, but she remembered the old stories. Fresh water, the Nuckelavee couldn't cross it. "Finn, the stream," she shrieked, pointing toward a small creek that ran from the hills to the sea. "Run to the stream." The Nuckelavee, hearing her voice, let out a piercing shriek of its own, a sound that seemed to tear the very air. "Turn." Its monstrous head turned, its single eye fixing on her. It changed direction, its terrifying focus shifting from the boy to her, Tyler ran, not toward the village, but toward the creek, putting herself between the creature and her brother. The Nuckelavee was fast, a horror of lurching speed. She could feel the heat of its foul breath, the stench of it making her eyes water. Her feet were slipping in the mud, but the stream was just ahead. She reached the bank and leaped, splashing into the cool, clear water. The Nuckelavee was right behind her, its hooves thunderous. But as its first foot touched the water, the creature let out a monstrous scream and rage. It recoiled, its raw flesh sizzling and smoking where it had touched the stream. It thrashed and roared, its limbs flailing as if they were on fire, unable to cross the narrow band of fresh water. Finn had seen her leap and was now running toward the village. Isla, still in the stream, watched as the Nuckelavee, howling in frustration, turned and galloped back toward the sea, its roar fading into the sound of the wind and waves. She stayed in the water until its grotesque form was nothing but a shadow in the distance. Knowing the villagers were now safe, she had faced the most feared demon of the Isles, and had not only saved her brother, but had turned the tide of its terror, one small running stream at a time.